Hey, what is up, what is down, what's left, and what's right, mga guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to Ansabe with El Tigre, where we talk about anything and everything because, ano daw sabi? Charis! And so today, we are going to talk about something very important. Something na napapanahon. Siguro pinag-uusapan niyo sa social media, pinag-uusapan niyo sa balita, baka pinag-uusapan niyo rin ng nanay niyo. Because in a few months, we will be going through a massive change. And on the 9th of May 2022, we as one nation will decide who is fitting to bring change and become new leaders of this country. For me, as a student learning communication theory right now, a lot of what we tackle in this course mingles well into our current society. And of course, as future media practitioners, it is important for us to know the role of media and communication in crucial societal events just like this, the national elections. With 6 presidential candidates with different advocacies and principles, it can be quite difficult for someone without much knowledge to decide who to vote for. Alam niyo naman na we've been through a lot these past 6 years and it is very crucial that we choose the right innovation for this position. Baka matutulungan tayo ng bestie natin today na si Everett Rogers. So, Rogers has this theory called the multi-step theory or the diffusion of innovation theory. Alamin muna natin kung ang sabi ni Everett Rogers tungkol sa theory na to. So, this theory kasi analyzes the conditions to know the likelihood of an innovation to be adopted. In this case, ang tinutukoy nating innovation sa video na to is yung presidential candidates natin. So, candidates equals innovation. Ayan. So, here, Roger recognizes that there are 5 attributes for the innovation decision process. Namely, relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability. And ako personally, with the help of these attributes, nalaman ko kung sino yung iboboto ko with all my heart. And I am proud to say that I am giving my vote to Vice President Leni Robredo. So, isa po akong kakamping. Baka hindi naman po kasi obvious, diba, no? But anyway, here's me explaining why Vice President Leni Robredo is my candidate and paano ko siya napili with the help of Rogers' diffusion of innovation theory. But before we proceed, I would like to clarify that these views and opinions are of my own and do not in any way, shape, or form reflect the institution. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. First attribute. Palakpak. Gulat yan ba, Diday? Anyway, our first attribute is relative advantage. Leni has her way of persuading people through actions and not words. Her leadership provides no empty promises, only concrete actions. Despite everything, all of the preconceived notions about her leadership, she urged to take action despite even our own president calling her out. Nakikita naman siguro natin sa balita, diba? Kasi the idea of relative advantage, which refers to an innovation that is seen as better compared to the previous idea, can be applied here. So, nakikita natin, kung titignan natin kung sino yung presidente natin ngayon, and kung theoretically, magiging presidente natin si Ma'am Leni, malaki nga naman nun, diba? When you weigh your options, it would be obvious that Robredo would be the better choice, and syempre we don't want to get stuck with a potty mouth misogynist for a president, diba? 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 Our next attribute would be compatibility. How you are connected with one another. So, paano ka connected kay Ma'am Leni? Paano kayo may sparks? Bongga, may sparks. Yan. Leni Robredo is a woman. Obvious naman. In fact, she is a woman who is constantly ridiculed by all the men she has worked with. I personally am an advocate of gender equality and the eradication of misogyny in this country. So that's why I guess Leni appeals to me. Kasi whenever I see her, parang it sparks hope in me na kung kaya niya, kaya ko. Kung malakas siya, malakas ako. Kasi she's surrounded by all these men who are like criticizing her, ridiculing her, and parang sinasabi na hindi siya deserve mamuno dahil lang babae siya. Kasi sinasabi mo mahina siya. You know, I am all for women empowerment and destigmatizing femininity. Kasi hindi naman kailangan siga ka, hindi naman kailangan brusko ka para makapamuno ng maayos, para ma-lead yung people, para maituwid yung daan. We don't have to rule with an iron fist to improve our country. Society needs to also progress from that thinking na women only belong in the kitchen. Women are emotional. Like, yun lang sila. Wala silang ibang ginawa kundi umiyak magka-feelings. Like, hindi sila strong-willed. Ganun ba? Guys, ano ba? 2022 na, so graduate na tayo sa idea na yun. Abante babae. There is so much that a woman could offer given a chance to be in that position. So for our next attribute is complexity, which talks about how easy or how difficult an innovation is to understand. Complexity is negatively correlated with adoption, so meaning, difficulty to understand means the lesser chance of an adoption. Siyempre naman, bakit natatangkilikin kung hindi mo naintindihan, diba? Kung ang gulo-gulo, kung baling-bing, pati boboto mo pa, diba? You know, all candidates have platforms. Unlike some candidates, Leni's platforms are not vague. You would immediately know which issues yung mga ina-address niya with each platform. Apart from that, she is also transparent and straight to the point. What she says is what you get, walang hidden agenda. You call her out, she listens, she takes accountability. Aside from this, she also exemplifies competence alongside with her transparency. For 3 consecutive years, Robredo's office, the office of the Vice President, has earned the highest rating from the Commission on Audit, maintaining transparency throughout her vice presidency despite being deprived of enough resources to operate. Kahit dun sa mga budget cuts, nagagawa pa rin nilang i-audit lahat ng pera and para malaman kung saan napupunta lahat. And very transparent siya and very true siya. And alam mo yon, she has depth. Her principles aren't that difficult to grasp. Kung ano yung sinabi niyang mga pinaniniwalaan niya, yun na yun. Hindi siya balimbing. Tapos, like, alam mo, you know where her loyalties lie, which is sa masa. So, our next attribute is trialability. Taray, nakakabulol. Trialability. Trialability is defined as the degree to which an innovation can be tested. Yun na, guys. Wala na, uwi na. Cheers, ayan. Leni has proven, siguro, kung hindi pa sapat sa'yo, basta Leni has proven that she has done quite a lot as a public servant despite all the backlash she has received from the current regime. With her years as a congresswoman and a vice president, she has legislated several bills, implemented quite a lot of programs that benefited the people. One good example is Bayanihan e-Consulta, which is one of her current projects and has yielded great feedback from a lot of people. She has helped a lot with the coping during this pandemic by, taking care of frontliners, funding gadgets, and to be used for online schooling, syempre, and reaching out to those who have been struck by tragic typhoons this past year, like during this pandemic. Nakikita naman natin sa balita yung Ulysses. Makikita natin sa balita yung recent lang, yung Typhoon Odette. Like, she's physically there. She's always doing something to help those people. To top all of that, diba? Her degree in economics and public administration adds to her credibility and goes to show that she knows what she's doing. Hindi peke yung diploma niya. Ay, sorry, ganon. Pero like, to add to that, walang duda kasi alam mong alam niya yung ginagawa niya. We are finally down to the fifth and last attribute. Ayan, which is observability, which is which refers to the degree to which the result of an innovation are seen or can be seen by others. All the previous points are tied to why I would vote for Leni Robredo, because all are based on what I've seen in the news, on social media, and from Leni herself. Yung kasabihan na the proof is in the pudding. We have seen everything she's done, everything she's been through, and everything she wants to achieve. And she may not be building bridges, nuclear plants, and theaters, but she has done a lot to help the masses. And that for me is a pretty solid reason. Kung ano yung nakita ko, siguro parang yun na yung makakapag-justify sa kung bakit ko iboboto si Leni Robredo. And that is it for today's video, guys. Ayun na lang yung hanash ko tungkol sa diffusion of innovation theory ni Everett Rogers. And I guess it made me realize that for decades, every election has always been a battle of color. Whether you are for the red or for the yellow, people often forget why we vote and who it is for. With Everett Rogers' theory, it opens different perspectives and lets you see the bigger picture. Poverty and corruption won't magically go away once you vote for the one you worship for. We need a leader with a plan. We need a leader who is brave. We need a leader who would lead with compassion. A leader who can be seen doing their job. Not a leader for the red nor for the yellow, but a leader for the masses. Not a human rights violator, not a boxer, and especially not a son of a former dictator. This time that we wake up and look beyond our rose-colored glasses and see the light at the end of the path painted pink. Despite all the noise, all the hate, and all the empty promises, the last man standing will always be a woman. Ako si Elle, at bilang isang mag-aaral ng komunikasyon, ako'y nakikiisa upang iboto si Leni Robredo, hindi lang para sa aking sarili, ngunit para sa media, pati na rin para sa masa.